So now what we are going to do is, the first thing I need to have the offline repository. We are not going to retrieve the information from the database, so we are going to manipulate using collections. So I'm going to keep a student collection which holds the student name and the details. So student equal, and that's my collection. Okay, how we are going to do that? Let's have two collections, first and the second. So here student ID and name and section. Or else we can copy from our PVD. As I said, this is a collection which we are going to use, so I'm just copying from here. Okay. Okay, so I have a offline database or repository, so which holds the student DB. So what we are going to do is, we are considering this student DB as a database, and these are the student information. So we are going to playing around with this database. So in this video we just discussed how we are going to run the APIs and how to create the student DB. That's all. In the next video we will start with the fetch operation and other process like update and delete. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back. So let's write another API. So let's name it first, I mean the root. So what is the root? As I said, app is a server and the root. The first thing, what is the path we are going to provide here? Okay, student, and from student I'm going to get all the student informations. Okay, or under the student you can call get students, and it is again a get method. I'm going to fetch the informations, right? So this is a get method. Just copy again. Okay, so let's create the API. Define get students. So here what we are going to do is, I'm going to return all the student details. Student, or just return this. But it is directly returning as a collection or a dictionary. So we are going to send them as a JSON response. So we need to convert and then send back to them. Okay. In that particular purpose, we don't have to write your own code, because Flask itself, it has a own JSON implementations. So in order to use that, you need to import something from Flask import JSONify. JSON. So this is a particular library which will help us to convert the collection as a JSON response. So instead, how we are going to implement that? Just use a JSONify file and the name stud. It's any name. It's user defined student and the library or the collection. So the JSONify, what it is doing is, okay, it has to be collection. So the JSONify, it's taking a collection. The one is holding the key, which is nothing but student. It can be any reference, and the value is student DB, which is nothing but your local repository. So when you run this particular method, and if you call this particular API, you will be able to get all those student information. Let's try that. And before that, let's start the script or the web server. Right click. Okay, server is up and running. So we all know what is the, okay, let's copy the path, students and get students. So HTTP localhost and the port number, and then you need to provide the path, the route which we mentioned in the REST API. Just run. See, it is simple. When you hit the REST API route, you will get the response, the logic which returned behind the API. That is called the business logics. So this is how we need to get the information using Python with the help of JSONify. Because the reason why I use JSONify, we don't want to send the collection as a response. We need to convert as a proper format like JSON and send back. So in order to do that, we used JSONify library, and then we send the response back. Let's stop it here. In the next video, we are going to discuss about how we are going to get some specific student information. I don't want to get all the student information. I just want to get the particular student information. So let's see in the next video. Thank you. So welcome back. So as I said in the last video, we are going to get some specific student information. So first, define the route. App.route. Just copy this. Again, it's going to be get operation since I'm fetching something from the database. So student and get students. I don't want to get students, I want to get student. But you need to pass a parameter, you need to pass an ID or a name or a title or a section in order to get the student information. In this case, let's use the student ID. Okay, let's use the student ID. So the way you need to pass it, in your route, you can pass the informations using the less than and the greater than symbol. In between, you need to pass the data. So here, roll number. So this is my route and this is my input detail. So you can retrieve this data into your API. So let's write a API now. Definition, get student details. Get student details and roll number. Now I have the roll number. So based on the roll number, I need to retrieve the specific student information, not all of them. So we can use the inline functionality. Student. So let's write a logic. Student. Just write a for loop. Student in student DB. It's loading. student db. What will happen is it will fetch all the student data and stored in the student variable, but I want to filter a specific student. So what you can do is you can write a if condition here, and you can write your condition. So I want to check the employee ID is equal to the request which I received from the user request. So I'm going to write a condition here, student roll number equal to the roll number which we received from the user input. So basically what is happening is I'm looping all the students and I'm checking the specific roll number is available in the existing student DB. So here in the student I'll store each and every student information. I'm checking whether the student roll number contains the user input roll number. Okay. So now what we are going to do is let's print the student. Print the student and then return the response. So we know how to return the data using JSONify. So open a collection and give it a name and the data which you need to send, student. So our API is ready. I have the roll number. I'm checking is there any student with this roll number in our collection, and that's what which we returned here, and I print the particular student information. It will be printed in the console here, and this particular returned data will be displayed in your Postman response. Okay, so let's test it out. Just copy the path, open your Postman, paste it, student. So which student we are going to retrieve now, because we have two students which roll number contains 11 and 12. Let's get 11. So 404. So what is the error here? Student and get student. Okay, so we need to stop the server and run it again, because the new changes will not pick it up. Right click and run Python. So now open your Postman and click send. See, now you got only the student information which you requested. Okay, let's pass 12 again. See, so this is how you need to work with the REST APIs to fetch the information. So in the next video, what we are going to discuss is how we are going to update the existing information. So when we are updating something, we all know that the method which we need to use is put method. Okay, let's see in the next video. Thank you. Hello everyone. So here we are going to write another API which will update the student information. Okay, so let's write a method. Let's copy this particular root. As I always said, first define the path student get student, and here I'm going to use update student and the roll number which you are passing, and the method put I'm going to update this particular student detail. Let's define a method to find update student details. So let's check what are the students available. Just, so you can use what is the method which you used? Get students. Just run this, you'll get all the student information. All the student information, and this is for specific information. Okay, so and here let's get the roll number from the input request. So the way how we are going to pass the information as a JSON input. So what I'm going to do is, like earlier, I'm just getting the specific student information and then I'm updating the student. Just do the same thing here, student, and you're looping all the student DB and checking whether student roll number which is requested by the user, so then taking that particular user into a separate variable. So now what I'm going to do is, let's check whether the request contains this roll number. If it contains, just update the name which is comes from the user request. So what I'm going to check is, let's write if condition. The roll number in request. So I'm going to check whether the roll number is existing in the request. So how we are going to do that? Because the request is coming from the request, I mean the roll number is coming from the request. How do I do that? So again, you need to depend on another library. So you need to import from Flask import the request library. So this is a library which will help us to read the request details which is coming from the clients. So roll number in request dot JSON. So if you take a look, it is checking your request whether it contains the roll number. So just print student available. So again, then what I'm doing is, I'm just checking is there any name tag is coming from the request.json. Name. So if it is coming, if the name is coming, I'm going to update the student details, because I'm already holding a student information which has a particular name. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to update the student name. The help of the information is provided by the user. So here I'm going to update simply student, and the zeroth element of what is the name here. This is the tag name, and I'm going to update into request dot JSON of name. Simply I'm reading the name from the request and I'm updating the selector student. This is the selector student. Okay, and then always return the response JSONify. Student 0. Okay, let's stop the server and run our server right on. Mid-click and Python execution. Okay, the server is up and running now. Just copy the student information. copy the root. So now what I'm going to do is just me and let's copy this. I'm going to update the student details. Okay, so you need to select the put method since I'm updating the details. Put method, but when you're using the put methods, make sure you'll have the accept as a JSON and also the content type application as a JSON, and here in the body you need to provide the details. Let's copy it from here. I want to update the student roll number 12. This is my request, and body you need to choose which format of data you're going to use. In the raw I'm going to use JSON. Just paste this here. So I'm going to update the student roll number contains 12, fill Carlson to fill Maddie. So just roll number 12, right? Just send. I'm just fetching the student. I'm running the previous API to make sure what is 12 contains. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to update. Just pass the roll number which student you are going to update. I'm going to update the student number. The student roll number 12 to 12 the name to different name. So the existing name is Phil Carlson and I'm updating to Phil Maddie. Just execute this. See, the output is Phil Maddie now. Just run the existing API which will return the specific student information. Just run it now. See, it has been updated because the change which is available in the buffer, in the cache. So the whatever changes which you are applying here, it will be available for the rest of the services also. Just get all the student information now. See, you can get the Phil Maddie. But once you stop the server and run it again, and when you run all the get students, now you will get again Phil Carlson. Okay, so the buffer, it's gone now. So now I'm retrieving the data from the original method, original repo. So let's try to update run method again. So now Phil Carlson becomes Phil Maddie. If you run the specific student information, see, you got the Phil Maddie here. Okay, so this is how you need to use the put method. In the next video, we are going to discuss about how we are going to add a new student information. Okay, thank you. Hello, welcome back. So we are going to add a new student here. So we are going to add something. So the method which we are going to use is a post method. So modify your method to post and update student to add student. You don't have to provide any specific user details here because it's a brand new student. Okay, so just write a method to add a student. Add a student and just frame a collection here or frame a dictionary here because we know the format, right? So this is the format of a student detail. Let's copy this, copy, and let's create a variable student is equal to. So here what I'm going to do is these things are same but the values are different because these values are retrieved from the input request. Okay, so I'm going to use request.json here. Request.json, and here, so from which field you are retrieving the data? Roll number. Just copy this. So here I retrieve the data from the name, and here section. So just try to understand what I'm doing here. So I have the student collection here, and it has a roll number, name, section, because that is the structure of the your database. So I'm getting the information from the client, I mean the user client. So and add this information into existing client, I mean existing repository. Let's make it easy. Okay, frame it, just keep it in a proper format. Okay, so now, so we all know what is my existing DB. This is my existing DB. So the way we need to do that, just use append, and which student you are going to append, it will add into the end of the existing collection. And again return the JSONify DB. Just copy it. There are most of the scenarios you just need to copy and paste it, because this is existing. Okay, so student, I added a new student and I returned, added and returned. So now stop the server and run the script. Just copy the informations here, create a new tab and paste it here, and my local path is Ctrl+C, home. So localhost 5000 and student, and add student, and this is going to be a post method since I'm going to add a new, and as I said, accept JSON format and content type, so application.json. So body, you need to choose which data type you're going to pass. So let's copy it from here. So this is a type I'm going to pass. Just paste it here. So name, let's add a new name here. So just for something, name is okay, let's have it a Nancy, and the roll number is 13 and section C. Let's run this. So what will happen now, Nancy will be added into the existing DB which contains the 11 and 12. Now it's Nancy is added as a third student. Just send. See, now you got all these three student information. So now when you try to run the get students, you will get another additional one because it's there in the cache. And if you're trying to read the information from get student, you can pass it. See, now you'll get the informations. So this is how you need to add a student into your existing library, or you can say as a database also. In the next video, the another one, the rest remaining one is removing a student from a database or a collection here. Okay, let's discuss that in the next video. Thank you. So hello everyone, welcome back. So as we discussed here, we are going to use another API to delete the information. So remove student, and the method, of course, it's delete. So write method remove student, and another thing, you need to mention here which student you are going to remove. Roll number. Okay, and get the roll number here. So here you don't have to write again how to retrieve the stored information, because we already written it here. Based on the roll number, we know how to retrieve a specific student information. So this particular student will have the selected or requested student, and then the way we need to remove it from the dictionary here. The first thing, let's check if length of student is greater than 0. That means it has some data. Then remove it from the student DB. You need to use remove. Remove student, and then always send the response back. So return the removed student information. Just stop the server again, because you need, in order to reflect the new changes, you need to remove the, you need to stop the server and start it again. Okay, let's run the script again. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new student. Let's run the get all student now. We will get only the first two. I'm going to add a new student here. So I'm going to add the Nancy here. So now then API added another student. Just get all students again. Now you'll get 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the student number 12 for Carlson. So just copy this method, copy, and go here and make sure you choose the delete. So what is the root? Remove student, and the student roll number is 12, and send. See, the full Carlson information has been removed. Now if you try to run the get all students, you'll have only John and Nancy. The reason is Carlson is removed. If you want to add the Carlson again, you can do something. You can use our existing API, which will add the student, send, and it is added. Now try to run the get all students. Just play around the APIs. You don't have to write each and everything alone. You already have a method which will return the data, student information, and there's another API which will return the specific information. And if you want to update something specific, you can use the another API which will return for the update student. Okay, so just play around with the scripts. So these are all very basics to the Python web services, and we use the Flask framework since it's very simple implementation. Okay, just give it a try, and please do let me know if you guys have any clarifications or need any additional informations. Just ping me or send me a message through Udemy messaging tool. You can send me a separate message, private message as well. Okay, I can help you guys whenever you need. So that's all from this particular course, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the particular course, and we will see each other in the next course. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the Benz.